We got to talk about the state of the franchise for the Buffalo Bills. And this is a pretty tough one for me to talk about because, I love the Buffalo Bills. I'm not a Buffalo Bills fan, but I love the Buffalo Bills because, first of all, I love Bills Mafia. You guys show a lot of love, a lot of support to the podcast. On top of that, I love small market teams. Okay, I'm just a small market person because I love rooting for the underdog. However, when you look at the Buffalo Bills, man, they're in a really tough spot right now. Now, they went 11-6. They won their division, the AFC East, and they lost to Kansas City in the divisional round of the playoffs, which pretty much came down to a coin flip. A coin flip pretty much decided the outcome of the Bills and Chiefs game, which the Chiefs ended up winning, advancing to the AFC Championship game. So you look at the Buffalo Bills. If you're a Bills fan, you're probably asking yourself, JT, what do we have to do to get over the hump? And that's why I said earlier that the Bills in Tennessee are pretty much in similar situations, because the Titans and the Buffalo Bills are teams that are in the Super Bowl window. They have rosters that are capable of winning the Super Bowl. However, they simply can't afford to get over the hump. And what is it going to take for Buffalo to get over the hump? Because you probably can say, well, JT, they're lacking in a couple of key areas, which every team has strengths and weaknesses. When you look at the Buffalo Bills, however, I don't really see any area on this roster that is just a complete, weakness. They need more depth at wide receiver. We don't really know what's going to happen with Emmanuel Sanders. Okay, they need to improve at left guard because one of their starting offensive guards from this past season is currently right now slated as a free agent. Then you got edge rusher Jerry Hughes. So what is it going to take for Buffalo to get over the top? What marquee player could they potentially sign in free agency to help boost them over that hump? Is it the run game? Do they need to have a better running back? Do they need to have, a more dominant pass rusher? Because we saw Gregory Rousseau flash a couple of times during his rookie season. Do they need him to explode? Are they looking for somebody who can become a game changer when it comes to the pass rush position? Are they missing that? Do they need a pass rusher that is elite? Are they hoping that Gregory Rousseau can blossom into that elite pass rusher that they're looking for? Do they need another corner, another linebacker, another D? What is it? You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to find out. That's what a lot of people are trying to find out. What is keeping Buffalo from getting over the hump other than Kansas City? Why can't the Buffalo Bills defeat Kansas City? And that's pretty much the question that a lot of people are going to be asking when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. Can the Buffalo Bills finally get over the hump? Can they finally beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the postseason when it matters the most? Because if you ask me, if Buffalo played the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game, I would have took Buffalo because Buffalo was a better matchup. Because Buffalo's defense was better than Kansas City, and their secondary was a lot better than Kansas City's. And when you're playing Cincinnati, you have to limit their ability to create big plays, which is something that I think is a strength of the Bills' defense. So I think that Buffalo, if they would have played Cincinnati in the AFC Conference Championship game, they would have advanced to the Super Bowl. However, we can't live off speculation and what ifs. But it does look like there is a position that we may be overlooking that if Buffalo can improve, could be what takes them over the hump. But the question is, what is that position? Now, also, Josh Allen had a phenomenal season. And not a lot of people are really giving Josh Allen the praise he deserves for how he played this year. Like, he had, one or two off games, but outside of those one or two off games that he had, like, he was consistent. He may have been the second most consistent quarterback this past season behind Aaron Rodgers, because Josh Allen delivered time in and time out. And if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, make sure that you guys go ahead and do so. You can follow me on Instagram at JTSports_. I released my all-pro team. The guys who I felt should have been all pros. And Josh Allen was, behind Aaron Rodgers when it comes to my all-pro list of quarterbacks. I only chose 2. And I felt like Josh Allen was the second best quarterback in the NFL from this past season. He was more consistent. And on top of that, he made a lot of big plays. And he wasn't as turnover prone during games like guys like Patrick Mahomes were or Justin Herbert. And I'm looking at Josh Allen right now. I have him rated as the second best quarterback in the NFL. And if Aaron Rodgers retires and doesn't play for the Packers or doesn't play overall, is just done with football, I would have Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the NFL. Because, like, he had a phenomenal season, and yet, he was a Pro Bowl snub initially. He wasn't one of the 3 QBs voted into the Pro Bowl for the AFC initially. It was Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson. So he wasn't even initially a Pro Bowl starter. So then you look at the fact that, he wasn't named to the All-Pro team. Like, I just feel like you look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been incredibly underrated based off how he's performed. And it's kind of weird because everybody knows that Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I'm calling him underrated because I don't feel Josh Allen is properly ranked where he should be in terms of quarterback rankings in the NFL. Like, if you were to name your top 3 QBs in the league right now, I'm pretty sure not too many people would consider Josh Allen to be a top 2, top 3 quarterback right now like I do. So I think Josh Allen deserves a lot of praise. And I'm going to be interested in seeing how next season goes for Josh Allen, because their offensive coordinator who has been with the team ever since Josh Allen was first drafted, Brian Daboll, took the head coaching job with the New York Giants. So Ken Dorsey is going to be replacing Brian Daboll as Buffalo's new offensive coordinator. And we don't really know what to expect from Ken Dorsey. We don't know what his tendencies are. We don't really know what kind of play calling he likes to, rely on in certain situations. Like, we don't really know about Ken Dorsey. So it's a huge question mark when it comes to, what kind of play calling you're going to get out of him. However, having Josh Allen is going to help out Ken Dorsey, because when you have an elite quarterback, he can turn a bad play call into a good play call. He can turn a play that should result in a loss of yardage and turn that play into a 2-yard gain. So the better quarterback you have, the better he's going to make the guy calling the plays look. So the last thing is, what will happen with cornerback Levi Wallace? Will he return to Buffalo? Because he's coming off his best season during his time in Buffalo. Like, this past season, 2021-2022, was the best season he ever had in his pro career. And he's probably going to get a pretty solid contract in free agency. He's not going to get anything that's going to make him the highest paid corner or anything like that. Nothing record breaking. But he is going to demand a pretty solid contract in free agency. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Levi Wallace sign a deal that's around 3 years, $30 million, somewhere in that range. I'm not talking about $30 million per year, but I'm just talking about overall. He's making $30 million over the next 3 years or something like that. You get what I'm saying? So we don't really know where, other teams have Levi Wallace in terms of their rankings and priority for agents that they got to get in, that they must sign. So I think there's a chance that we could see Levi Wallace return to Buffalo. However, Buffalo currently is under the cap. They're negative $1 million under the cap, so they're going to have to renegotiate a couple of deals and rework some things. But I do think that there's a good possibility that Levi Wallace could return in free agency to Buffalo because he's going to get a pretty solid contract, but I don't think it's going to be anything that Buffalo shouldn't be able to match. So overall, I look at where this franchise is for Buffalo, and I know Bills Mafia has to be pretty frustrated with the fact that they keep coming up short. However, you're getting there. You're coming close. And the fact that you're coming close may irritate you, but I think that we are going to see Buffalo in the Super Bowl sooner rather than later. So you guys let me know how you guys feel about the state of the franchise for the Buffalo Bills.